Hello, this recording is about Dianthus, also known as cheddar pinks or just plain pinks. Dianthus has a huge following worldwide. There are a lot of Dianthus out there. There are perennial Dianthus, there are annual Dianthus, and two of my favorite Dianthus for this area that hold up to the heat are Dianthus Bath's Pink and Dianthus Fire Witch. Here's a picture of both of them. The one on the left, this one here is Bath's Pink. It's a softer pink color. Fire Witch is almost like a neon magenta color. Both of them have similar growth habits. The Bath's Pink grows about, it's a little shorter, about 6 inches tall. The Fire Witch gets up to about a foot tall. There's the bloom of the Fire Witch. The Dianthus Fire Witch was actually the perennial plant of the year in 2006. Full sun to part shade. I don't like putting Dianthus in full-blown hot parking lot sun. We've got some here on campus that seems to be struggling in the heat. They tend to, the bloom doesn't last as long in the heat. You can get morning sun to them. That's great if you can get kind of like some. If you do have an afternoon exposure, some dappled shade helps quite a bit. Here's some Fire Witch as they're fixing to bloom. This is probably March somewhere. They make, when you first plant them, they're nice little like balls of greenery, and eventually they'll form a mat that will fill this whole area in. Here are some Fire Witch gallons. Notice the kind of a nice tight ball effect. Here's some that have grown out. Now, after they've bloomed, they tend to look a little ratty, kind of like this. The blooms are self-cleaning. However, you can take a weed eater and nip the tops of them, clean them up. Again, it's on my list of weed eater plants. This is Dianthus Bath's Pink. And this was actually discovered by a famous Georgia landscape designer, Jane Bath. Found this back in the 80s, I believe, early 80s. And it was one of the, she noticed that it didn't melt out in the heat. And when I say melt out, a lot of the Dianthus that you can buy that's popular up north, if you were to plant it here, the foliage would actually just, it would look like it literally melted almost. Root rot that's accelerated by the heat. Oh, both these Dianthuses, Fire Witch and Bath's Pink, tend to be evergreen. This is a picture in January 23rd, 2008. It was actually 5 degrees. I'm sorry, it was more like 12. And you can see the foliage holds up, so it's a good evergreen plant. Here is Bath's Pink on the edge of some steps, and actually they will flow over the steps. That mat will actually go over the rocks, so it's pretty interesting there. Here's a comparison of the two bloom colors, and there's actually the Bath's Pink's got that circle of dark right there in the middle, darker pink. And don't be afraid to use the two together. I mean, I wouldn't interplant one and one, but you could do a bed of one and a bed of the other. The Fire Witch right here tends to bloom a little longer. It'll go into the heat of June. Bath's Pink, it might get to the middle of May. You do go through and clip them either with scissors or, like I said before, a weed eater. You'll get a repeat bloom in the fall, especially the Fire Witch. Not so much on the Bath's Pink. I'm not saying you won't get it, but you might get it. But this is again two good Dianthuses for our area, Zone 7, North Georgia. Thank you.